Hi guys, hope you're well. Just catching me at the gym here, so if I look sweaty and out of breath, I'm sorry about that. So I just wanted to share a few things today. Been having some Zoom calls with you guys and been hearing all of your stories, and I've had a ton of DMs come in explaining your stories and the way that you resonate with where I was and my story, and just identified a few patterns in the stories that I've been seeing, and I just wanted to kind of share that with the wider community today. So it seems like a lot of you guys went down the Western medical route when addressing all the crazy symptoms that you had, and not only did you go down that road, but it kind of left you more and more desperate. You spent a ton of cash going from specialist to specialist, doing procedure to procedure, and you got nowhere in the end. It's probably why you're on this channel. Trying to understand why you have all these kind of crazy symptoms, okay? So I just wanted to share my opinion on the whole Western medical healthcare and doctor route. And, I hope it resonates with some of you. Some of you might not, and you might want to change the channel now, but honestly, I really don't care. So in terms of what I've been through, I saw an amazing amount of specialists. I saw everybody from multiple sclerosis to Lyme to mold to your general GPs to heart specialists to neuroscientists to neuro-ophthalmologists. And the only thing that I left with was a lighter wallet. I spent, I think, in the region of 75 to 100,000 on basically getting nowhere. Most of these guys just didn't really understand anything. They just sent me for more and more tests, and it became kind of prevalent to me that they were just guessing. And when you have that feeling when somebody is just trying to bullshit you after a while. I mean, I kind of got to that conclusion very early with a lot of these guys. And I just wanted to say that, a lot of us kind of grew up in that time where we watched all these TV programs like ER and House and all these kind of, exciting medical dramas where, you'd see somebody go in with like a very, very strange medical condition, and there would be like 100 nurses and 3 doctors, and they'd be working 24 hours around the clock trying to solve the problem. They'd have the whiteboard up trying to figure it out, and then at the end of the episode some new doctor comes in and says, I found the solution, we need to up his this and we need to lower his that and we need to put him on that medication, and then all of a sudden the patient would miraculously recover, and at the end of the day the credits would roll and you'd be like, damn, that was exciting, we thought we were going to lose that patient. Right. The reality of Western medical healthcare couldn't be further from that. And let me just explain to you what the reality of Western medical healthcare, and I'm talking about, let's say, the US as the core of this, where the UK now is actually following the US. It's been bought up by a number of Wall Street firms, and it's kind of moving towards more of a kind of a US-centric health system, which is very profit-orientated. Okay, so firstly, I don't believe in a profit-orientated healthcare system. I think that whole thing is very, very dangerous, and let me explain why. So in terms of the way the healthcare system works in the US right now, you have your doctors, okay? The doctors go to medical school. A lot of the times these medical schools are funded by your pharmaceutical companies, the likes of Pfizer, Moderna, the big, huge Johnson & Johnson, big, huge pharmaceutical companies fund these universities. So they throw out these, pharma doctors who then go set up their practices, and what then happens is you get a pharma sales rep. And I used to work in sales. I know the way this thing kind of works, right? The sales rep then goes and takes his collection of pharmaceuticals from the company, sells them to the doctor, and then the doctor prescribes them to his patients. The doctor gets a kickback from every prescription, the sales rep gets a kickback from every prescription, and the pharmaceutical company gets a kickback from every prescription, okay? When you look at these medications, I was on a few of them. I remember I took one medication that one doctor gave me. It was an anti-epileptic. I looked on the side of the packet. Go have a look at the medications that you could be on. Have a look at the side effects. One of the side effects of the medication that I was on was death. Right now, I don't care how fucked up you are, what crazy symptoms you have, right? I would think twice about taking a medication where the side effect is death, okay? So these doctors, they prescribe you that stuff. It's a big pyramid that you're not invited to. That doctor's gonna keep prescribing you stuff because that's all he's got in his toolkit, okay? And at the end of the day, on the weekend, he or she is just gonna go play golf. They're gonna put their golf clubs in the back of their nice BMW and go play golf. They're not gonna give you 2 seconds thought, okay? So that is the case with a lot of doctors, and it happens again and again. It's the stories that I've heard from you guys, okay? So I just wanted to kind of share some tips for when you go and see your doctor for whatever ailment or whatever symptom it might be. You might have been recommended that doctor by somebody else. If you walk into your doctor's room, you explain your symptoms, and your doctor does not know anything about Lyme disease, mold toxicity, heavy metals in your body, toxicity in the food that we eat, trauma, anxiety, depression, and pesticides in food, water, general environmental toxins, EMF. That's just a small fraction of it, guys, right? If your doctor doesn't have any handle on any of these things, not even one of these things, right? You see that piece of toilet paper that he or she has framed behind his head or her head, right? That's all it is. It's just a piece of toilet paper, right? It's just a certificate that somebody gave that person, okay, 20 years ago because he or she passed a few exams, right? Came through a pharma-funded university, right? And was sold medications that he or she is now going to give to you, okay? That is the way this works. So yeah, so if you're like me, you're probably wondering, there's got to be like some organization, right? There's got to be some kind of ombudsman that's basically making sure that pharmaceutical companies don't get away with this shit, that doctors have to follow due process and we can't get these risky medications out there. Well, yeah, there is something called the FDA, and it's the Food and Drug Administration Department. And guess who they are funded by? The majority of funding for the FDA, yep, you guessed it, comes from the pharmaceutical companies that they are set up to administer. And a lot of the time, the employees from the FDA used to work at these pharmaceutical companies. So do you think these pharmaceutical companies are going to have any problems getting these medications through the door? Do you think they're going to call up somebody at the FDA and somebody at the FDA is going to say, no, we cannot release this medication because, it hasn't followed the right checks? Bullshit. That medication is going through, and the FDA is nothing but an extension of these pharmaceutical companies. That is the way it's been, and they have made billions and billions of people suffering. And a lot of these medications, we don't even know the side effects of, right? It's only now we're starting to understand how these medications operate in the body. I mean, SSRIs are a big one, right? My brother lost a lot of years of his life to damage from SSRIs, okay? And it was just, again, a casual appointment that he had with the doctor, and the doctor just simply put him on a cocktail of medications, and that was it. The doctor didn't give 2 seconds thought to what the long-term implications might be of having that person on this potentially dangerous drug for many, many years, okay? So when you think about the SSRIs now, go have a look on it, right? News is coming out. There's proof now that the whole thing that they sold you on SSRIs, that we have neurotransmitter imbalances in our brain, and that's why SSRIs basically correct that neurotransmitter imbalance. It's based on nothing. There's no scientific study, there's no proof, nobody's ever proven that, okay? It was taken as gospel back then, and just from that one piece of information, they have sold billions and billions of worth of medications, okay? And it was the same for me, right? My psychologist told me the same thing, told me that my condition was down to a neurotransmitter imbalance, and that's why I need the SSRI, because it will go in there and it will up my serotonin and it will up the transmitters. Again, it's just bullshit. It's not proven. You cannot measure levels of neurotransmitter in the brain. Nobody can, okay? The levels are changing all the time. So guys, keep that in mind. Really have a think about this. I mean, this is not rocket science. A freaking 2-year-old could put this shit together, right? And understand how much of a scam a lot of this stuff is, right? So as I always say, when it comes to something chronic, take the healing back into your own hands. Do your own research, get books, start to understand your human body, start to understand that it's by no coincidence that you're sick, right? We have a lot of environmental toxins, we have a lot of trauma in our lives, we have a lot of stuff happening in the world. We're not designed as human beings to be living in such amounts of stress. It's no wonder we're getting sick, right? And if a doctor tells you that there is a cure for your problem and it's a pill, and he shows you some piece of shit study, that any study, I'm telling you right now, can be paid for, right? I don't believe any study that I read online, right? It's not about following the science anymore. It's about following the money. That's always what it's been. It's about follow the money, and that's where you'll find the science. So guys, keep that in mind. Sorry for a little bit of a depressive message on the weekend, but I'm just trying to save you guys a lot of heartache, a lot of pain, and a lot of suffering, and a lot of money as well, because trust me, I have spent fortunes and I saw the top people and it was a waste of my fucking time. Okay guys, have a great weekend. Stay strong, keep with the program. You're doing okay, you are okay, and you will get through this. Okay, cheers guys, bye.